Hello, and welcome back to another episode of playing Crusader Kings 3 using the hardest possible rule set, starting as a custom character in China in 1066. In the end of the last episode, our father, who was our second character, died from cancer, and so with this episode we are starting with our new character. We'll work here to remove our brothers. We'll want to pin ourselves and then any good male heirs. You can see how our character looks like at the start of his reign. 36, we have 3 virtuous traits plus diligent, so 4 strong personality traits. We're already exalted warlord, got that at age 16 from just having a very good education. Also a famous champion. You'll have some experience in the Confucian education trait, and we have the governor trait, but no real experience in there. We are also, most importantly, we are a genius. We're married to a woman who is Amazonian. See that we have actually had a few children, though they are, well, we have 2 daughters and recently had 2 sons. As the new Wang Di of China, we get to have a number of concubines. What we're really looking for is women with either Herculean or beautiful traits. Since we are the Wang Di, usually we can invite women and they'll be willing to come to our court without having to seduce them or even pay them for anything. Let's see if we can find, that's already our courtier, so why can't we, maybe let's do a few activities, let the time pass for a bit. Sometimes that helps the program sort itself out. Pick a lifestyle. We almost certainly go chivalry. Authority here is an option, but I think generally going chivalry is best for the extra advantage and prowess. We will be looking to use this character as a martial character and do a good amount of conquering into Hindustan here, which looks like the most powerful realm on the globe, except for us, of course. This guy's also fairly strong. Okay, we're currently on a trip to, looks like, a local examination. See, we are well over the holdings limit. Part of that is because we are playing with the game rule of domain limit -3 for the player only. So normally we'd have a domain limit of 9. This would be acceptable, being over the domain limit by 2, but as you can see, we're over it by 5, which we really need to fix. Do have some courtiers that are inspired, usually pay for inspirations to get good artifacts, so long as our treasury can support it. And here, so you probably can. Obviously this isn't great, but I think that will fix itself over time, or when we next plan a budget. Go ahead and develop our capital. One of our issues is that our domain is really scattered all over. I think what we would like to do is relocate everything we can to the Henan Circuit Kingdom, and particularly move our capital here to what's now called Bianzhou, though it's usually known as Kaifeng. I guess Kaifeng is the name of the barony. Yes, okay. And so the issue has been that one part of being on the hardest rule set is we are on very hard difficulty, which means that vassals are much less willing to have their titles revoked. So this guy in particular has been challenging. May have to wait simply either until he dies or try to get a hook on him. But something we don't really have to worry about now. We can deal with that later. Do want to get closer to our domain limit though. If we can give away this area up here, I believe we held it beforehand before we became a ruler, but we don't really need it now. Give it to some unlanded member of our dynasty, house. We do have the mystical ancestors trait, which gives us renown whenever we grant titles to house members. I believe for celestial government it only works if you grant duchies or kingdom level titles, so just granting a county or a prefecture the way we just did will not give us any renown. We should have a relatively smooth succession. My only concern is that we are holding 4 duchies, which creates a -30 vassal opinion. I think we'll try to deal with that. If not, we can look to see what we can give away. It's a good question of exactly where all of our titles are. Okay, so let's move forward. Go back and check on what concubines we have available. It's strange we can't have this one as our concubine when she's one of our courtiers, but set that to the side for now. Instead, look for any Herculean women we can invite to our court. We're not finding many, or any even. There's one. Another courtier who seemingly we can't get to be our concubine. We will want to do the coronation activity as soon as possible. Looks like we're locked into doing this local examination first. Are getting a liberty faction. We do have plenty of gold. So we will see how many of these people we can get to drop from the faction. Magic number is +80. So, all these people that we are basically bribing to go away, because they are going over the +80 threshold, they ought to drop from the faction. The only reason they wouldn't is if they have been forced to join the faction. Plan is to be coronated. Probably get the ensure peace oath, which requires us to be at peace for 5 years. During that time, we'll do a capital examination, grand tournaments, other things to improve our character. And as soon as those 5 years are up, we are going to be looking to attack Hindustan. Ideally attack them repeatedly, but obviously we'll be limited by truces with them. Guess we'll be friend. Pay off more of these rebellious faction members. He's forced to join, so paying him won't help. If we wanted to, we could defeat them, but I'd rather just have them agree to be more loyal and instead move on to having 5 years of peace, which is what we'll want to do when we get to our coronation. Presumably, it's always possible that the option to swear and ensure peace oath won't come up. So, usually don't sleep with courtiers or anyone else for that matter to avoid secrets and potential for losing levels of devotion. I wish that when you became the ruler, there was an option to end whatever activity you're stuck in. It certainly seems realistic that if someone suddenly became the most powerful person on the planet, they would stop going to a local examination and instead hurry back for their coronation. But that's not how it works. Merit, so might as well get lifestyle experience where we can. Speaking of which, let's look at if we have any better journals, particularly one that gives martial experience. Doesn't look like it. Well, besides this one that we already have equipped, so this is clearly the best that we can do. Bit surprised this faction has not gone away. I think some people are joining even as others are dropping because we bribe them, so sort of staying at a relatively stable amount of power instead of becoming weaker. And again, we, as part of playing on the hardest possible rule set, we have 2 rules that are making vassals more likely to join factions and more likely to rebel. One is by playing on very hard, the AI becomes more rebellious under a player ruler. The other is that we are playing on lesser realm stability, which makes vassals more likely to rebel against any ruler. You may say, well, doesn't that make AI realms less stable? And lesser realm stability does that to a little bit, but also part of playing on very hard is that vassals become more loyal, less rebellious to an AI ruler, and so overall AI realms tend to be fairly stable. Here, always look for noun. People are annoying me sufficiently that we may just decide to fight them. I feel quite good about our chances. Currently we're in the expansion era, so happy to have expansion movement remain favored. want to avoid the conservative movement or the advancement movement, as they will try to push us into tension, which I don't want to be. Rather just be an expansion. Talked before about that option. It seems like whenever you pick one of the first two, I always get negative results, even if it says it's a coin flip. It's getting to the point that I don't know that I'm going to be able to avoid this faction. I think we will try to get it as small as we can, but if they aren't going to go away, then we'll simply fight them. Thought they would admire my virtues, and that would cause them to fall into line. But again, part of playing on the hardest difficulty levels is that your vassals are far more rebellious, and so looks like there's not a way to get out of this one simply by bribing them. I mean, the other thing I could do is give up a duchy and a couple of counties. Is there anything in Yingmo that we really want? Not really. So I think what we'll do is give up this duchy to one of our house members. That looks fine. See, we do get 225 renown for this. And so that ought to increase opinion by a total of 35. We get 15 from giving away one of our duchies to throw up the duchy limit, and we get 20 because we gave away 2 holdings where we were over the holding limit. So we'll see if that causes our vassals, enough of them to like us enough such that they will drop the Liberty faction. Buys us a little bit of time, but not sure it worked well enough to achieve our intent. So if the carrot doesn't work, we will be using the stick. Let's make sure all of our regiments are at maximum strength. We have plenty of gold here, so go do that easily. Make a few more regiments. I really love the Zhenmadao infantry, however it's pronounced. It's very powerful, so we will make a couple more stacks of those. We have 15 siege towers. That's not great, but it should be enough. Notably, if you're an exalted warlord, you see that siege weapons are more effective. So we should siege relatively quickly, even without a lot of siege equipment. Here, usually take whatever decision will increase the quality of the artifacts. Now we have another faction. I think if we get a coronation here, which we should be able to do very soon, that may cause some of the factions to go away. Picking perks relating drive toward hard rule. You can see that increases the faction military power threshold for vassals. Very important. This is a great tool for handling your vassals and preventing revolts. One of the best perks for doing that within the martial lifestyle, and all characters from here on out will be martial. We'll pick pedagogy. I would normally probably think about picking scientific there, but we were actually currently all caught up on cultural innovation, so I can't really learn more at the moment until we get to 1200 and the late Middle Ages. We will push away tension here to avoid tension and just stay in the expansion phase. See if consulting heaven helps. Nope, we'll not consult heaven since that would only add to the tension. Drink some tea, get a huge modifier that reduces all stress gains. That's very useful. Take these options as well. And the main thing we want to do here is our coronation. Since we have so many factions and rebellious vassals, we will do impressive attendees. Given the amount of money, we'd always want to do the maximum of magnificence for both of these options. We'll go from here. One thing is that factions don't seem to fire when you're traveling to or holding your coronation, at least in my experience. So we should have some time while people gather for our coronation. That could be very useful. But going back to what I said previously, we should have some time as people gather for a coronation to reduce the short reign penalty. Let's make sure that our Grand Chancellors on domestic affairs, and hopefully we can increase our vassals' opinion by enough to get them to stand down. That is obviously a vastly better crown than what we have. Great for vassal management, so that's what we'll put on. Can't equip the regalia yet because we need to be coronated. So I think let's go ahead and educate our children. Ideally, we would have some sons that are both intelligent and either Herculean or beautiful, but obviously no guarantees that happens. So in the meantime, we will get these two educated. Not sure why. I might already be educating another child. If so, we will stop that. Stop educating our daughter. Instead, educate our young son. And the reason for that, as you probably know, is that daughters are heavily disfavored in the Chinese culture in CK3. So it's very difficult to make them your heir or give them land or anything of that nature. Instead, we really want to focus on our sons. So we certainly don't want the conservative movement to be the debate winner. I'm not seeing what movement this person's part of, but in any case, we'll say he's the winner. And that's, he won anyway according to the merits of the debate. So you can see here, this Liberty faction can send an ultimatum any time, but they aren't doing so. I think that's because we are holding our coronation. Love adventure inspirations and give you very powerful artifacts, so always happy to sponsor those, especially legendary ones. And I've talked about before the purpose of pinning our sons up here. Really what I should say is our potential heirs, is so we keep an eye on them, make sure they're properly educated, and in particular try to influence the personality traits they have so that they have good personality traits and not bad ones. Again, we want to improve the quality of our artifacts. We inherited some land down here, probably because of this terrible quite severe plague. So we'll give them to this robust gentleman. Hopefully he will be able to survive this apocalyptic consumption flu. So that is quite bad. Not much we can do about it, unfortunately. I usually don't have them start wars against someone else. Instead, we'll just increase our magnificence. Here, I usually assent, so long as it doesn't cost me anything, just to avoid the loss of opinion from the other decision. So when we get an interesting brooch, we will place one of our existing trinkets with. I mean, the +4 domain taxes is very strong, so happy to have that. It does remind me that we should probably romance our spouse. So same point as last time. So I think not the first one, but we could do it. Second and third are both strong. Really a question of how much do I like renown. I think I like renown a whole lot, so we will take that option. So we're not going to give out hooks to people, so that does cost us. This will likely overwrite our romance scheme, so we'll simply go with the second one here. Do like increasing cultural acceptance. Let's pass on that, especially since we don't get any stress. Talked about before, want all of our potential heirs from here on out to be martial. I think given the strength of our army, that's not strictly necessary anymore. My guess, for reasons shown in the last episode, is that we will just utterly annihilate Hindustan when we fight them, and that would probably be true even if we had a non-martial character. But having a martial character certainly helps, makes it even more likely that we are going to be successful. So, I am genuinely surprised that we do not have ensure peace. Not quite sure how it decides that. Expand the realm is just difficult to do. We would need what, about almost 90 more counties. I mean, we're going to get some. If we had a whole bunch of prestige, that would be better, because one of the things that we can do with a lot of prestige is take over entire lands, but that's very expensive in terms of prestige. Like taking over Great Liao up here, for example, would probably cost like 20,000 prestige. So I think that is not the great option. Shaping the realm. Looks like we've already maxed out some of our buildings, so that's not great. Let's see, foster enlightenment. Okay, we have 50 years to do it. I'm guessing somewhere in our realm there are universities, and that they likely have 30 development, but let's take a look before I say that. And we just sent our sons to universities, so there have to be some universities around. Strangely enough, I am not. Okay, there's a university. 39 development. There we go. So we will just take Foster Enlightenment. It should auto-complete. If it doesn't, we have 50 years. It's quite a while. The new tapestry is just sort of irrelevant. Guess we'll take the intrigue experience. Not sure we'll need it, but it's possible. Talked about how to oust the current ruler of Kai Fing. May want to go into the intrigue lifestyle to get fabricate hooks and get a hook on him, which should encourage him to give up his territory. We'll take this option since there's 0 stress involved. Go for a little bit of diplomacy experience. Go with the faith of our supporters. And then, of course, just missed, literally by a single point, getting to the 4th level of magnificence. But that's the way things go. That son has no genetic traits, so will not be our heir. Here you see we can immediately foster enlightenment. So we will do that. Also, really want to pay attention to our legitimacy. Not sure why that guy, some of these people, I'm not sure why they're still in the faction. Of course, now that we don't have to ensure peace for 5 years, means we could be more willing to just let these factions fire and take their land, but I would rather direct my aggression outwards, specifically toward Hindustan. So let's see if we can get these people to stand down still. Okay, I should have trained for a tournament before clicking that off, so we will do that now. We will be holding a grand tournament very soon, but I think I will hold a capital examination first. We're the only one that can hold it. So we want, most examination breadth we can get. Also the highest passing grade. Reason for this is it gives us the most legitimacy, and even though it says this will eliminate a lot of entrants, in my experience that is untrue, that virtually everyone will pass. You probably are going to have like 300, 400 entrants, and maybe one person will fail. Of course, you'd have to feel quite bad for that one person. So with all our virtuous traits, we've now been named the good. That doesn't actually have any effect on our vassals, I don't think, but it ought to, in terms of making them less likely to revolt against us. And surprisingly, we have a lot of people seeking to have their inspirations funded. Okay, looks like the only thing left is now some peasant rabble, which we can put down easily. Also, we will take hard rule. So that should really put the end to any factions of significance for now. The most annoying thing about this peasant rabble faction is it causes the dangerous faction icon to appear and potentially misleads me as to whether the Liberty faction or this faction are getting stronger. But again, I think we'll be okay. And frankly, if one of them fires at this point, I'm sufficiently annoyed that I will just fight them. So, in fairness, by resetting the budget, we may have annoyed a lot of vassals. So it's possible that they would now become more interested in rebelling against us. So yeah, you can see the Liberty faction increasing. We'll see if we can pick off some of the biggest ones here. Yeah, okay, whatever. We're just gonna fight them. Yang Fu is part of the expansion movement, which is what we want. So we'll say he won even though he did not. Just give that away. Let's check again on our military, make sure it's maxed out. Since we are about to go to war. Simply, hopefully this guy actually rises up and we'll just take his lands. Obviously this is a bit of a bold move on my part. If this faction were weaker, if I were a weaker character, I would probably try to do something. I mean, for a Liberty faction, obviously the easiest thing you can do is just give in to their demands. But I don't think I need to, and so here we go. There's quite a lot of them. Looks like it's leaders are up there. Want to take their capital. See if we can score a cheap, easy victory here against these guys. We should. Let's take this capital here. I don't get consumption. That's a bit risky to do. You see we are sieging quite quickly, even without a lot of siege equipment. And that should only improve once the exam is done and my ruler becomes available to lead this army. Talked about in the last episode that I usually am willing to do whatever helps increase people's merit. Happy to have as many people as possible with high merit. Just gives us more governors to select from. Go over here and catch the army of the leader of this rebellion. Don't want to have everyone lose 60 merit, so we'll just lose a little bit of prestige instead. We want to see if we can catch this army. Probably do this top one here for the plague resistance, since it is a truly massive plague. continue to be surprised they're having this difficulty, but unfortunately when we cut the budget, this caused everyone to get like a -50 vassal opinion, and that resulted in them all being willing to join factions and rebel against us. So that's life. We'll take the capital, but I'm pretty sure is the main rebel leader, and we will just continue from there. We will swing the scales using influence. 59% war score. And usually pick the decisions that improve the quality of the artifact. We'll continue to do that. So we're now fighting against 2 major rebellions. Guess we're going to find out whether this was a good decision or not. I actually don't want to lead this army, partly because I do not have the living off the land trait, which increases supply. Someone is sieging our capital, though they don't have enough men to do it, but we do need to be really cautious about that. We still have a peasant rabble. So this will be a little tricky, but what I want to do is host a grand tournament. I want to focus on experience in the foot trait. I guess those are the only 2 I can do. The reason for I want foot experience is because if you get the max amount of max out the foot trait path, then you get +2 size for all your regiments. It's very useful. We'll max out the tournament. We currently have the treasury to do it, and we'll just sort of have to juggle here between the tournament and fighting this war. I'd like to catch some of these armies. I think that would significantly help us. Just barely missed them. Let off my daughters or sisters to anyone just because they won a tournament. So we did catch some of the army here. Destroyed it. We're already in 2 major wars, so what's a 3rd one? We will continue to juggle everything here, including looking at our heir. Influences personality to be diligent, I think. We are getting close here. Could have taken the peacemaker trait. Just annoy more vassals. If we can catch them, that should be the end of the war, or we'll be very close. And we are going to catch them. So just 2 away now. I usually don't try to cheat to knock anyone out. I unfortunately lost the wrestling match in the first round. Happens. It's unfortunate because you get a lot more experience. So we will head over here. Oh, actually, what I'd like to do is head over here, fight these people, and hopefully that will end one of these wars. At least if I can catch them, which not looking great at the moment. Okay. See here, we will juggling a few I am surprised. In fact, we lost some war score. Let's go fight that army that's getting near our capital. On the way, we can blow up these peasants. But I am getting quite concerned about the army being right next to our capital. Seems interesting that it says neither is holding the war goal, and I'm occupying his capital. But that's okay. Come back to our capital. I don't think we have any armor, so that is very useful. Okay, I think we forgot to do our preparations for this duel, but we'll just do our best with it. And I think this really sort of shows the challenges of playing on this max level difficulty. Even when you think that there shouldn't be rebellions, you're going to get them. That's just part of the game. See here if we can intercept them. Now they keep moving. Maybe we'll be able to intercept them here. Finally. Assume he is, yep, expansion, so that's good. A bit surprised that it did not seem to get us any war score. siege down this rebel capital. Don't want to go toward tension. Don't want to spend gold. Cute. So, the great Hindustan ruler trying to invade my important provinces. It's obviously not good. I talked before about I am virtually certain that we could handle him one-on-one, but now we have all these rebellions. Makes sense, I'm sure, from his perspective to attack me right now. But we are going to see about bringing in some mercenaries to help us. Very little in the way of special mercenaries are available. Has become quite a mess. I think it's fair to say in retrospect, probably would have been better off just to give in to the demands of the Liberty faction. Certainly a lesson, I think, there to be learned. Taking their dynasty legacy, we will definitely go down the martial tree. So it looks like one of these is just unsieged. Everything we had sieged, I give up. We will just white peace this one. And while we're at it, we will see about just driving this one to white peace as well. Then we will turn all of our attention on the Scourge Conqueror. Guess let's hold a feast to try to improve our vassal opinion, since obviously our sheer virtuosity did not do it. war here. Better to have him improve our knights. Should have been trusting his views on this matter, but I continue to do so. Right, I'll have to white piece out of that one. So again, one of the things I said at the beginning of these games is that I'm not going to reboot or restart or do what's sometimes called birding in terms of doing something to retract a bad decision. Instead, we're just going to play through it. And that's what we have done here. Again, I think we should not have tried to taken on all these rebellions. Probably should have just given in on the Liberty faction in particular, and I probably could have bought off the other faction. But since we did have to fight them, I will be increasing my authority, so they will get some punishment. What I want to do now is come back up to this area with high supply, get a bit more supply for my troops here, while we wait for the Scourge Conqueror, who is already coming. Maybe let's just go up there. And he's sieging incredibly quickly. One of the things that we can do as China is bring in some vassals. We have plenty of influence, so it makes sense to bring a number of them in, have them bolster our ranks. Make this war a bit easier. And then hopefully once this war is done, immediately after it's done, we'll be launching a counteroffensive against him to get back this kingdom that he took from the Song. He looks to be running. Either that or he's going to attack our vassals. Not sure we'll be able to catch him. No, it's a bit disappointing since I thought he wanted a war. Now we're at the point where I will be leading this army. A bit more advantage. Go from there. See where the castles are in this county. What we really want to do is catch his army and defeat it. Once we do that, we'll go back and unsiege some of the territories he has sieged. doubt I can catch him there, but let's see. Maybe I... Nope. Don't want to attack him there because it would give me attrition. Try to make our second son diligent here. Quite sure where he's going now. Guess he was going down to attack some of my vassals who were trying to come up to join me. So he is going to beat them. Usually whenever my regent tries to force me to do anything, I just veto it. So the siege is done. We are going to go back over here and see if we can finally get him to fight us instead of him being a coward. Don't worry about any legends right now, finally. So you can see this is not him, but we have a very significant advantage. I think we'll probably still have an advantage even when the Scourge Conqueror himself loads in. Scourge Conqueror will have plus 35 advantage, something of the game rules, plus 10 from very hard, plus 25 being a Scourge Conqueror. But I do not think it is going to save him from us. Indeed. There seems to be a lot of stack wiping going on. Okay. So we are just one siege away. Okay, so we're about to be at peace. Obviously, this was not ideal in terms of how this came about, but all is well that ends well. We'll get almost 20,000 gold from this guy, but still he has an amazingly large amount of gold. You can see we really did take a huge chunk out of his army there. Most importantly, we're about to inflict a defeat and war on him. If he is defeated in 3 wars, he will lose the Scourge Conqueror trait. And predictably, that is what we want to do to him. I don't know that I should trust his judgment, but I will. You see, he actually is paying more to our vassals, so that should make them happier, less willing to rebel against us. Some of those rebellions were triggered because we had a strongly negative treasury early in our reign, and our treasurer cut the budget to vassal development and salary. That gives vassals, I believe, like a negative 50 vassal opinion. That caused more to join those 2 factions that we saw earlier, and that resulted in the rebellions. Send all our nephews, children, whoever, to children's examination. Improve our accolades. Stalwart is good. Tactician is good. I think we'll go with Tactician. Tactician increases the counter efficiency of men-at-arms and also gives martial experience. So now that we have him a bit on his heels, we are going to attack him again. Do want to check about if we have any chance of taking this land. Don't want to grant him an appointment. I want to revoke his appointment. Nope. Okay. It's a bit unfortunate. I felt we had to surrender that second rebellion, or otherwise we could have taken this province, which we do want to eventually move our capital to CK3, but not able to do it. Our current domain is all spread around, which is less than ideal, but that's okay. We are going to declare war on the Scourge Conqueror, presumably the second most powerful person on the planet after me. We are going to inflict another defeat on him. That should be good. You see, we have 300 supply. That is from living off the land, which is just an extremely powerful perk, one I always try to get early on in the martial tree. See that we are sieging very quickly. Note here that we don't even have sappers yet. Instead, what is happening is a combination of engineered for destruction and then simply being an exalted warlord. Being an exalted warlord is so powerful when you're going to fight Scourge Conquerors. It's really one of the best things. That's why we're educating all our children to be martial. The idea that hopefully they will get Exalted Warlord, or if not that, Brilliant Strategist, the one with a 4-star military education. Then you can just go to university, and with a little bit of luck, you'll become an Exalted Warlord. Talked before about don't like changing the religion in our counties, so we won't. Letting in religious exiles will change the religion, which creates problems. Probably should have looked into seeing about appointing a family member to that position, but oh well. I think we will just out-siege this guy without even seeing his army. Yep. Okay. And there we go. So we have now inflicted a second defeat in war on him. I think we've also shown in these two fights that we are in fact the most powerful ruler in the land. As soon as our truce is up, we are going to be fighting him again. The question is, this place has some very nice buildings, very nice counties, including this one. What we could do is basically base ourselves in Yongjing and Fufang. Have these be our two duchy titles. Hold all the counties underneath them. I think that is what I will do. It's a bit unfortunate that we won't get Kai Feng, but that's life. We will start giving away the other duchies here. And you can guess who will be giving them away to, which is our family members. We do want our house members specifically, so let's try to limit it to that. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, we'll just do it sort of manually here. Yep, so 225 renown. Looks like that's going to be the going rate for a duchy. So that's fine. See if we can find someone with a 4-star education just to make sure they can keep all this. And again, we want someone who's in our house. Guess there aren't that many options. Maybe we'll just go with a 3-star instead. Do we keep the renown? Other option for a duchy would be this one, but I guess it's only 2 counties, so no. Yeah, that's where we want all of our counties to be. Let's see, we will be giving up the special building. And it gives renown, and I'll see, give some prestige, but I think we can live without that. I'm generally a sucker for buildings that increase my stats, and that building doesn't do that, so okay with letting it go. Thought we had some other domain up here that we could get rid of. Perhaps not. At least for now, we will give away the secondary baronies. Want to put our chief administrator on managed domain, which he already was. Frankly, he should not have been, but that's life. Start proving control in these counties. So give away this one as well. I think we can't give away this one because our capital is located there at the moment. What we'll be waiting for is for this building, Chang'an, to become active. Once it does, we'll move our capital here. It's been converted to Muslim faith, so that's a bit interesting. Curious how much prestige we would need. I had thought we would have an ability to expansion movement. We'll take the slight legitimacy hit there. We do want to get our legitimacy up to 7 as soon as possible, because otherwise, we're going to be heading toward tension. Check on our wards again. I think we can hold a local examination to build up our legitimacy. Really want it to be as high as possible. Go with maximum examination breadth and highest passing grade to get the most legitimacy. Go with favoritism to get renown. Talked about that on many occasions. We'll go with those two things. That looks like a very strong regalia. And the one we have is pretty good, but diplomacy for level of fame. Just talked about how I really love accumulating stats here. You see this character has quite strong stats and everything except intrigue, which is awful. That's okay. So you can see, the suggestion that we start a legend. The problem with that is, as part of playing on the hardest possible rule set, we are playing on legends being very expensive and spreading very slowly. So here you can see, just for the base legend, we'll be spending almost 140 gold, virtually our entire net income. As we get to the second and then the final level of mythical, we'll be spending even more. Just at the moment, I just don't think we have the income to support a legend under this rule set, so won't worry about that for now. Perhaps something we'll look into later. I'd really hope in this episode to do more conquest externally, but instead we got wrapped up in rebellions that ended up inconclusively. And so again, I think a lesson there is, you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you really want to try to avoid rebellions. They tend to stack on each other. They invite foreign powers to attack you, and so you're really just better off nullifying them. And in my case, just then, one easy answer would have been to give in to the Liberty faction and just accept going down a level of authority. And then I could have probably bought off the other faction and we could have moved on. I'm a bit surprised that our daughter had such a terrible education. It's like our erudite instructor isn't as good as he could have been, so we will replace him. And we will crack on. Here is where we get renown. More renown, the better. And we'll have our relative, at least I believe that's our relative, get some advantage. This local exam. We've had some genius sons, we've had some intelligent sons with a physical trait, but we have not yet had any have not yet had any genius Herculean sons, which is really what we're looking for. If we had one, then probably consider him to be our presumptive heir. So see quite a bit of legitimacy there. We'll keep increasing our legitimacy. Bit surprised their expectations are already at 7, but that's okay. We'll finish out this, including getting sappers, which should cause us to siege at light speed. Guess we don't need it. We'll drink some tea to get that excellent stress gain modifier. See if Consulting Heaven will push away tension, but it will not. We'll check our tips here, and then we'll be very close to ending the episode. I want to find someone who is intelligent. We'll need to restation our men of arms. We do want this kingdom, which we will be keeping even if we give away other kingdoms. We still can't move here. 5 more months. So we will deal with that in our next episode. And so, very significant here. Talked before about if a Scourge Conqueror takes 3 defeats in wars and they lose the Scourge Conqueror trait. And that's true for regular Conquerors as well, but here we're more interested in Scourge Conquerors. And so we know that we inflicted 2 defeats on him, so maybe somewhere along the way he picked up a 3rd, but you can see here that the ruler of Hindustan is no longer a Scourge Conqueror. Now, he still has a very large military. Indeed, the game says its strength is similar to ours. I do not think that's true, but it is what it is. You can see his realm is still much larger than ours, and he still has a massive amount of gold, almost 100,000. And so what we'll be doing next episode is continuing to chip away at him as soon as we can. Let's see what... we still have another 4 years. Yeah, I think almost exactly 4 years. 1 month less. In the meantime, probably be looking to see who else we can attack. I had thought we would have a better claim on Great Liao, but it doesn't look that way. Specifically, what I'm looking for is this forced vassalization CB. You can see we have it against Hindustan, but I don't see it against Great Liao. Wonder about this. It's not here either, so I don't know. But anyway, we'll certainly be doing some more attacking someone next episode. Thanks very much for joining. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in our next installment.